Top 10 Liam Neeson movies you need to watch. In an action genre dominated by superheroes and names like Tom Cruise and Keanu Reeves, we sometimes forget that Liam Neeson has more than enough arguments to be in the top of the greatest legends of action cinema. Although he has also excelled in other areas, proving that he has a great capacity as an actor. That is why we are going to review the 10 best Liam Neeson movies. It wasn't an easy selection, but here we go. Number 10, The Grey, 2011. We start with the film that combines the brutality of nature with the animal world. The Grey tells the story of a group of oil workers who are on their way home. Their plane ends up crashing in the middle of nowhere, or rather, in the middle of the frozen wasteland of Alaska. There, they will have to survive the extreme weather conditions and a pack of hungry wolves. Violent, wild, raw, with very good photography, moments of high tension, and best of all, Liam Neeson in alpha mode. It has a somewhat abrupt ending, despite its almost 2 hours of duration, but it is still worth it. Number 9, Darkman, 1990. Maybe this movie causes some controversies because many cinephiles don't like it, but for others, it's a cult classic. Darkman was Liam Neeson's first incursion into the superhero genre, taking the role of a kind scientist named Peyton, in charge of an investigation on synthetic skin. However, it all went down when gangsters raided his lab and burned his face in acid, among other horrible tortures. After that, Peyton was horribly disfigured, but also gained superhuman strength and endurance, which combined with his natural genius, makes him a brutal vigilante. The best part of it all is that the film is directed by a rookie Sam Raimi, so expect a lot of bizarre sequences and violent camera moves, though that's precisely the source of its charm. With Darkman, Liam Neeson proved that madness isn't bad for him either. Number 8, Memory, 2022. Liam Neeson recently turned 71, but that doesn't mean he's moved away from action movies. Not at all. In 2022, he starred in Memory, which follows the story of Alex Lewis, a skilled assassin with a reputation for discreet precision. In recent years, Alex has been dealing with Alzheimer's, which has gradually aged him, so he's treated with an experimental drug that causes his memory to alter, and he experiences hallucinations. Determined to fulfill one last job for members of a mob, Alex discovers that one of the potential victims is a little girl with a history of abuse by her father, so he decides to oppose his own employers in an attempt to redeem himself. With Martin Campbell as director, the man responsible for Casino Royale, Memory is a drama-filled thriller in which Liam Neeson excels at what he does best: shooting bad guys. Beyond his advanced age, Neeson's performance in the fast-paced scenes is quite remarkable. Appropriate camera work, low lights at the right moments, and correct chases end up making this film an unambitious but very entertaining product. Also, Guy Pearce has a role in the film. You remember him from Memento, right? Number 7, Run All Night, 2015. Accompanied by Ed Harris and Joel Kinnaman, Liam Neeson embodies the story of Jimmy Conlon, a man who for most of his life has been the hitman of his best friend, Sean Maguire, the most powerful mobster in New York. These criminals were inseparable until, in order to protect his own son, Jimmy had to kill his best friend's son, leading to a nocturnal chase in which they must protect themselves from countless hired killers while healing their relationship. Run All Night not only takes its name seriously, but it develops its characters so much that as a viewer, you care about what happens to them. They're not invulnerable superheroes. They're flesh and blood people dealing with real consequences. Plus, it never hurts to have a good parenting story with a few bullets in the background. Number 6, The Commuter, 2018. In this film, Liam plays Michael, a businessman who has been in service for so many years that he already recognizes many of the people he crosses paths with at the subway station. After being fired, Michael returns home on the subway as usual, but then he comes across a mysterious woman who asks him to find a passenger who has supposedly stolen something, and he has to find him before the next stop, or the lives of the passengers and his own family will be at risk. With an excellent cast consisting of Vera Farmiga, Patrick Wilson, yes, the Warrens in a movie outside of The Conjuring, Florence Pugh, and other stars, The Commuter presents a perfect mix of action and mystery that will keep you on the edge of your seat throughout the entire subway ride. Plus, Wam Kolatsera, the director of Run All Night, was also responsible for this film, marking what could be his last collaboration with Liam Neeson. But never say never. Number 5. Batman Begins, 2005. Although he didn't star in this film, Liam Neeson was an important piece in Christopher Nolan's trilogy based on the Dark Knight of DC Comics. In Batman Begins, Neeson adopted the role of Ra's al Ghul, the leader of the League of Shadows, who at first trains Bruce Wayne to turn him into a fierce vigilante. But problems begin when his apprentice refuses to kill. From being the protagonist's mentor, Ra's al Ghul becomes the villain, with an intricate plan to wipe out Gotham's evil by completely destroying it with the Scarecrow's fear gas. Though the Dark Knight won't make it easy for him. Liam Neeson again shows off his action skills in this film, and although he reappears in the third part, I consider that in Batman Begins he had more importance and gave us one of the best adaptations of a character as enigmatic as Ra's al Ghul. Number 4. Non-Stop, 2014. We return with the collaboration between Neeson and Guam Kalatsera, but this time it's not a subway, but hundreds of kilometers high. In this story, Neeson plays Bill, a former police officer turned air marshal who has made many bad decisions in his life. During a flight, an anonymous person starts sending him messages, assuring him that if he doesn't receive a large sum of money, he will kill a passenger every 20 minutes. Now, Bill will have to find the supposed killer, while at the same time trying to make sure no one finds out what's going on. We're not going to lie, it's not like The Commuter, but Non-Stop takes the prize for being the most intense and intriguing. And you really start to doubt every passenger, even the ones who are nicest to the protagonist. Number 3. Michael Collins, 1996. It was about time to add some politics to this top, and what better with Michael Collins, an Irish revolutionary leader who fought fearlessly against the British occupation of his homeland. The film is therefore an almost complete exploration of the Irish War of Independence, the Irish Civil War, and the officialization of Ireland as a republic. The role of Michael Collins was one of the most complex for Neeson, as we are talking about a figure both loved and hated at the same time. But he delivered a great performance, and the film won 1,000 compliments at the Venice Film Festival, including a Golden Lion. We also have to appreciate the incredible work of Neil Jordan as director and screenwriter, who arranged all the elements of the film in such a perfect way that makes it one of the most underrated historical dramas in cinema. Number 2. Taken, 2008. After a few discrete years in Hollywood, Liam Neeson jumped back to stardom with Taken, a movie that needs no introduction, but if you haven't seen it, it's about a kidnapped girl. Jokes aside, the plot revolves around Brian Mills, a retired CIA agent and divorced father who wants to spend more time with his teenage daughter, even though she wants to go on vacation to Paris with her best friend. Despite being unconvinced, Brian gives her permission, unaware that his daughter would fall into the clutches of an Albanian human trafficking gang. However, these criminals didn't know they were going to provoke the wrath of a father, which is worrying enough, but an agent with a very specific set of skills that make him a nightmare for people like them. Taken is simply brilliant, gripping you from beginning to end with a harrowing plot and spectacular action scenes, along with one of Liam Neeson's most intense performances in what could be the ultimate character of his filmography. Number 1. Schindler's List, 1993. Although the holy grail of his career is not an action film, but a highly complex and realistic drama. Schindler's List tells the story of Oskar Schindler, a German businessman who had many Jews in his service. But when the horrors of the Holocaust begin, he does not hesitate to do everything in his power to protect them from the Nazi regime, whatever it takes. Undoubtedly, this film is the best in Neeson's filmography, and with a legend like Spielberg in the director's chair, it's very difficult to make mistakes. Schindler's List does not limit itself to exposing the atrocities of the Nazis, making it a difficult but hopeful experience, because at the end of the day, there are always people like Schindler willing to fight against evil. The film triumphed at the 1994 Oscars, winning Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, and other awards. In addition, Neeson received his first Best Actor nomination, as did Ralph Fiennes for Supporting Actor. In this story, he is not the indestructible Liam Neeson we are used to seeing, although he delivers something better, his more human and vulnerable version that touches everyone's hearts, even the coldest ones. So, we come to the end of this list, but we might make a second part because Liam Neeson has more gems in his repertoire, such as Love Actually, the film adaptation of The A-Team, his facet as a voice actor in a Monster Calls, and the Lego Movie, and of course, his participation in the Star Wars universe. Definitely, Liam Neeson is the person I would call to save me. You've been watching Binge Film. Don't forget to like and subscribe for all things movies.